Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to walk you through the first days of school so you can be successful right from the very beginning. So as an overview, on the first day we're going to be intentional about creating a positive classroom culture. On the second day we're going to create some norms together, and then on day 3 we're going to create an enduring understanding about why language arts matter. And then on day 4 we're going to do some journaling strategies. So as the kids walk in, I'm going to have this slide on the board. They're going to find a seat with their name on it and then wait until further instruction. I like to prepare name tents, just really simple name tents, so I can have order right from the very beginning. It's so hard when you don't know their name right from the beginning. So I have their name tents prepared. They find the one with their name on it. They go sit down quietly. Then I'm going to have them do this warm up using this worksheet here. So worksheet A. And I'm going to tell them to think about their favorite groups of people to be around, how they treat each other, and think about their previous classes and what they liked and disliked about them, and just kind of brainstorm about what they like and dislike about being in a group of people. They're going to do that here on worksheet A. And then I'm going to introduce this question to them: how can we create a positive classroom culture? And then we're going to read an essay that will help them answer this question, and you get to choose what that essay is. And then I want them to highlight the passages that help them answer the question and anything else that they enjoy about the essay, and then they can write their thoughts in the margins. And then we're going to do stands up, hands up, pair up, where they high five somebody and tell them what they highlighted, and then find somebody else once they're done. And then I'm just going to have the timer on the board, and they're just going to do that until I tell them to stop. Then we're going to do a quick little poetry shout out where we take passages from the article that we read and we just shout them out, and I type them on this slide right here as they shout them out. And so then we have all of these little gems that they've picked out from the article in this little poem format, so we can just see what everybody has gleaned from the article all in one place. And then now that they have read and talked to each other, I want them to turn and talk to each other again. How can you now contribute to a positive classroom culture? And then I want them to write that down here on worksheet A. How can I personally contribute to a positive classroom culture? Then we're just going to bring it together as a group. What do you think? What are things that you can do to contribute to that? And then I'm also going to spend some time saying how I am going to contribute to a positive classroom culture as well. Then we're going to switch gears and we're going to write a letter to ourselves. So I'm going to hand out some origami paper, and I'm going to have them write a letter to themselves that they are going to open at the end of the year. And I want them to write about what they're doing in their life right now, what they're struggling with, where they see themselves in a year, whatever they want. And then you can do this as ornate or as simple as you would like to. You can just have them turn in a piece of paper and you keep it and give it to them at the end of the year. You could put it in a cute envelope and seal it. What I'm envisioning is to have them fold it, and then I can decorate the classroom with what they have folded. But you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want to do. And then we'll go over some time to talk about some classroom supplies. These are the things that I like to tell my students to bring, but you can add whatever you want. And then we're going to go over some policies and procedures. This is super important that students know every single thing about the classroom. Where do they sharpen their pencil? Can they sharpen their pencil at a certain time? How do they ask to go to the bathroom? What do they do in situations A, B, C, D? Make sure that they know that so that you can have order in the classroom, and practice doing that. How do they turn in papers? Where do they turn in papers? How do they move desks? If you want them to all sit in a circle, what's the process for that? How do you get their attention? What's your attention signal? They need to know all of that right from the very beginning so you can have order right up front, and so you can have fun, because if you don't have any order, nobody's having any fun. After that, I'm going to tell the students to have a really good day. Then the next day, the warm-up on the board is going to be this: to write or draw things that they're grateful for, and don't stop until the timer goes off. You can change the warm-up for sure. But here is the note catcher for that. It's worksheet B. Then we're going to practice some policies and procedures. And then the objective for the day is to create norms that will promote our positive classroom culture. So I'm going to define for them a norm. A norm is something that's usual, typical, or standard. And then we're going to go over this in greater detail. What are some synonyms? What are some antonyms for norm? And then I want them to turn and talk to each other. What are we doing today? Why are we doing it? We're building norms so that we can have a positive classroom culture. And I want the students to have a hand in this because it will be more meaningful to them if they have had a chance to do it rather than me just giving them the norms. Then I want them to write on this sheet here, on worksheet C, what are we doing today and why are we doing it? Then they're going to have a list of values on their desk, which is sheet D here, and you can add or take away anything that you would like from this. And I want them to read these values and circle the ones that are the most meaningful to them. And they have to narrow it down to their top 5. Then they're all going to share their top 5 while the teacher makes a tally, and then we're going to narrow it down to their classroom top 5. And then I'm going to, as a teacher, I'm going to insert the class's top 5 values here, and we're going to use those top 5 values to create norms. So to do that, we're going to look at this worksheet C. We're going to write down each of these 5 values that they have picked as a class, and we're going to write down what those look like in action over here. So, for example, if they picked respect, that looks like treating others with kindness even when we disagree with them. So I'm going to give them a few minutes to do that. Then they are going to go into groups, so 5 different groups, so 1 group per value, and they are going to create a value based on, or they're going to create a poster based on that value. And they're going to meet together. So for example, if the respect group got together, they're going to look at all of the things that they have written down on this worksheet C, and they're going to pick the elements that they loved from each other's, and they're going to synthesize it into one powerful sentence together, and then they're going to make a poster of it. So they'll write the value with a colon and then the little sentence describing what that value looks like in action. And they can add decorations to their poster and make it fun to look at if there's time and if they would enjoy doing that. Then we're going to do a quick gallery walk to look at everybody's posters and make comments on sticky notes about what you like about them. And if they notice an error with spelling or grammar, they can make a note on that as well. Then they go back to their own poster and they read the comments, and if they need to, they can make changes. Then I'm going to have the groups read to me their value and what that value looks like in action. And then those become the norms that the students are going to use throughout the year. And after they've created the norms, I'm going to tell them to have a really good day. Then day 3, on day 3, the warm-up is going to be, do you think it's important to study language arts? Why or why not? Why or why not? And they're going to do it on worksheet E here in this top box. Then we're going to do a little bit more policies and procedures practice to make sure that they're really understanding that. And then we're going to go over the discipline plan. Out of all of the discipline plans that I have tried, this one is the one that works the best for me. So the first time a student does something wrong, I say their name. It's very important that you say their name so that I don't know why, it's just more effective that way. So you say their name and you say, please stop. The second time they do something wrong, I say their name and say, this is your warning. And then the third time I say their name and I say, you owe me, which means they stay after class and we visit for a minute about why their behavior is the way that it is and how it can improve. Very, very rarely have I had to go past a warning, because they know if they do one more thing out of line, then they have to stay after class and visit with me, and no student wants to do that. So if they continue doing something even after they owe me, then we visit with a guardian to talk about their behavior. And I would implement this the second you teach the kids what this is. Start implementing it and don't detract from it at all. Stick to this like glue and your discipline will be so much better. Don't try to come up with other punishments. Don't try to do anything else. Please stop, warning, owe me, visit. You keep it simple, stick to it like glue, and the students will follow it. And you can even practice that. You could have a kid act up and do it if you would like to. Or maybe kids are already acting up and you have to use it. Okay, then the objective for the day is to create an enduring understanding about why language arts matter. An enduring understanding is just a fancy way of saying a concept that you can use out of the classroom. If you want to use a different term, you could absolutely do that if you would like to. So we go over it here. Enduring understanding, a statement that summarizes important ideas that have value in the classroom and in real life. And so then they can understand what even is an enduring understanding and why are we doing it. So the point of this day is trying to get the kids to understand that studying language arts will benefit their life. Then I want them to turn and talk to each other, tell a neighbor what an enduring understanding is, and then tell their neighbor, what are we doing today and why are we doing it? And then here on worksheet E, what are we doing and why are we doing it? Then, since we've created the norms, on worksheet E here there is a box to put the norm that they want to focus on. So maybe they want to focus on respect, and what does that value today specifically look like in action? So now that you know the objective for the day, here are the norms, which norm works best for you today, and what does that look like in action today? And always make sure that when you ask them to write down their norm intention, that you have the norms so they can pick one. Okay, so the teacher provides these quotes, and the students need to highlight and annotate evidence that helps them answer this question: why do language arts matter? So the teacher needs to find anything, essays, poems, quotes, anything that help them answer that question, and students read them and annotate as they go. On worksheet F, I want them to do a little brain barf. So brain barf to me is just another way of saying brainstorm, but it's less orderly. Just get whatever is in your head on paper, even if it's like, I don't actually know what I'm doing right now. Just start writing. Write the first thing that comes to your mind, and I want them to write here, worksheet F, why do language arts matter? And you can give them 2 or 3 minutes to do that, or as long as you think that they need. And then I want them to do hands up, stands up, pair up, high five each other, answer the question, why do language arts matter? And then they can take more notes here in their brain barf section. Still good information from each other, and write it down to help you with this next task that we're about to do. And then I want them to organize their brain barf. I want them to write their answer note. I want them to write their answer on the sticky note. So here in the organized section, the teacher needs to stick a sticky note right here, and they will organize their brain barf here on this sticky note, and then we're going to use it for the activity in just a second. So then we're going to move into a sticky note synthesis, which is one of my very favorite strategies, where I give them this piece of paper. It is this one here, worksheet G, and they come together as a group, preferably a group of 4, and they bring their sticky notes, they stick them on each corner of the page, and they read each other's answers about why language arts matter, and then they pick elements that they love from each one, and they rewrite the sentence in the middle of this paper here. And a sentence starter for them would be, language arts matter because ... And the trick is that they have to do one sentence. It has to be concise and powerful, not 6 paragraphs long. If they just copy 4 sticky notes into a giant paragraph, no sir. They have to do one concise sentence and make it really powerful. So word choice is essential here. So then after they do that, they will read out the answer. So group 1 will read out their answer, language arts matter because yada yada, and then the teacher will type them. And then we'll have all of these really beautiful answers for why language arts matter. And then if you want to, you can take it a step further and synthesize those 5 answers and combine it into one enduring understanding here. I have done this with advanced classes, and it is stinking fun, and I'm sure any other class could do it too. It just depends on your time and if you're up for using an entire class to rewrite a sentence. But whatever you want to do, it's going to be really fun. So either way, you either have one class enduring understanding, or you have 5 enduring understandings. And you can use these throughout the year to remind students about why what they're doing matters. And you can post them, make them cute, hang them up somewhere in the classroom, or just have them on a slide where you can show them to the students periodically. Whatever you want to do with that will be great. And then after that, I'm going to tell them thanks for creating such great enduring understandings, and then I'm going to tell them to have a really good day. Oh wait, no, I'm not. I'm just kidding. We're going to do our very first reflection of the year. So, where do we do it? So on worksheet F, they're going to reflect here. How did you do on your norm today, and did you meet the objective? And then I'm going to tell them to have a really good day. Then the next day, we're going to focus on journal writing. So the warm-up is to answer the following question. Do you write in a journal? Why or why not? And that's going to be on worksheet H. So right here at the very top, they're going to write their answer to that. We're going to practice some policies and procedures, making sure that they understand how to do everything with order and respect in the classroom. And then I'm going to teach them about good news. You guys, good news is life-changing in my life. I came across it, or I just created it accidentally when I was having a really rough day, and I was like, guys, tell me something good that's happening. And after that, I did it every single day because it made me so happy. So every day after a warm-up, do good news and tell the class, something positive. They have to keep it brief, and they only get one turn, because for the first few days, they'll look at you like you're crazy and they're like, I don't want to do this. But then in a few weeks, they will be so excited to tell you good news that you will have to say, dude, you already had your turn. So just have the kids tell you something positive and then move into the lesson. And we're going to talk about binder setup today. So here's what I want in each of the sections. You can change it however you would like to. They have to have their rubrics, and I always love them to keep any articles that I print out for them, because then they can connect it to other things that they're learning and kind of reflect on the year as they go through the articles that we've read. Section 3 is when where I want them to keep note catchers, like things like this, worksheet H. And then section 4 is line paper. But I like them to keep everything so they can use them for reflections and their growth throughout the year. So the daily objective is to discuss the benefits of journaling. And I want them to write here on worksheet H, what are we doing today and why are we doing it? And then I want them to pick a norm and write what it looks like in action. And then these are the essential questions kind of for the day. Normally I won't do essential questions just for one day, but since we're just starting out the year and haven't started a specific unit, it's going to look a little different. So these are the essential questions that I want the students to be able to kind of uncover today. And then I am going to have a reading station where we further explore those essential questions. So I want them to read the articles that are on the tables, and I want them to highlight information that helps them answer the question or things that they find interesting. And then I'm going to play music, and they're going to go to another station. And they're going to keep track of everything that they do on this H2 worksheet. So they can add their notes here during the reading stations, and then they're going to refine their answers here on the right side. So now after they have read at the stations, I want them to revisit these questions. And like I said, they don't have to be perfect at all. But have them write it on this right-hand side here, and they can use these notes to help them in the Socratic seminar. Very, very chill, not high-stakes Socratic seminar. So they're just going to visit with their group. We're going to put the chairs and desks, and they're going to visit with their group about things that they noticed in the articles and how they answered the question. So what stood out to you? Where are you in your thinking regarding the essential questions? How do you feel about journaling? Anything like that. Then how to actually journal, because there's lots of kids that don't even know where to start with journaling. I found this amazing website on YouTube, or this amazing video on YouTube that really changed how I think about journaling. And so show them this video by Struthless on YouTube, the journaling techniques that changed my life. And then I wrote them down here in a list. And so they can take notes if they want to on the video, but I have really broken it down for them right here. And you can hand that out to them and they can put it in their binder. But have them watch the video. And then after they watch the video, I just want them to write. So take an opportunity, take the last part of class to just write in their journal. They should have their composition notebook at this point because I told them the day before they were told to bring it. But if not, they can write anywhere. So after they have had a chance to write in their journal, I'm going to tell them to have a really good day. And then we're going to start tomorrow with their very first project. Okay, thanks everybody. I hope the first few days of school is really meaningful and successful for you. Go smash it.